Hello, this is Annalisa from Faith's Dream Create, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a simple birthday card for you, and I will be using this stencil from Picket Studios, and this is the fancy Kaleidoscope stencil. So I'm going to be using some masking tape to adhere the stencil and the card base down to my glass mat to ink this up with some Distress Oxide inks. I usually create directly on the card base. I use a really thick cardstock for this, so I can get away with it. I do like to add layers here and there, but mostly I just create directly on my card base to make things simpler and get cards done and created. So that is that, and I'm going to blend this stencil together once the masking tape is down. You could definitely use pixie spray as well. There's options when it comes to stenciling, but this is what we're going with. So here are the Distress Oxide inks that I am using. I decided to go with green, so I'm going to take these three colors and blend them together. And I will also have all of the supplies that I have used in today's video listed down below in the description box. If you are ever curious, want to know more, take a look at the product on a particular website. I will have a few different options for you to take a look at it if you are interested. So just blending this all together, and we're going to see the big reveal here in a minute. I just love when you take a stencil off of the paper. Right now, it doesn't really look like anything. It just looks like the green. You don't have the stencil design. But once you take it off, it's like, ta-da! So getting that masking tape away, and then the stencil comes up, and it looks really, really cool. So you're going to see it here in a second. And there was a few spots on the side that it didn't blend out the whole way, so I'm just going to bring in my paper cutter and trim those extra white spots off. Then since this paper is really, really thick, sometimes my paper cutter doesn't like to cut it, so I have to work with it a little bit and sometimes use scissors. I need to invest in a fancier paper cutter that likes thick paper. So anyways, that is all cut down now, and I can go ahead and work on the next part. So I did heat set it a little bit so that I could move on to the next step. So I'm taking my stamping platform here, and then I'm going to be using the Pink and Main birthday script stamp set that says happy birthday. So I'm putting it directly in the middle there, picking it up with the stamping platform, and then I'm going to ink it up. And I used my anti-static tool there. So I'm inking it up in Memento Tuxedo black ink and stamping it down. And I decide to stamp it again as well to get a darker impression. I want it to be black and bold on here. And that's the great thing about the stamping platform. You can go back in until you are happy with the stamped image. And then I'm going to clean this off, and I actually just cleaned it off with the masking tape because it was right there. Didn't need it to be perfect, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with the Simon Says Stamp clear embossing ink, and I'm going to put that over, and this is going to give me more of a surface to add some clear embossing powder to this. Sometimes you can get away with just the Memento Tuxedo black ink if you move quickly, but by adding the second layer of the actual embossing ink, you're going to definitely have no problems with heat embossing. So added that powder to the birthday script, and I'm using the Ranger clear embossing powder, and then just heat setting that, and I just love how it melts and how much shine it brings to this card. So super simple. You have the stenciled background, the sentiment, and then you add this shine in, and it just gives it that something else. So once that is all melted, I will move on to the final step. You could definitely stop here and just have the stencil in the background have that shine. You can just see it shining there. All right, so putting some of the supplies away so that I can move on to the final step. So I decided that I wanted to add a little bit more to this card. And I have these sequins that are not organized in my organizer for my sequins. So these were sitting out on my desk when I made this card. So I just went through this little bucket and picked out some green sequins. I will have these sequins listed down below. They are the craft metal-y sequins. They are available at scrapbook.com. And yeah, so I'm using my Barely Art glue, and I'm going to put these sequins on, and I'm going to be using the Marvy Jewel pick to help me adhere these down. So just figuring out where I want the sequins. So I'm adding the glue in, then I'm going to go ahead and adhere them down. And that is going to finish it off. You could definitely add different elements as well. Pops of color or Nouveau drops would be amazing to finish off this card as well. But I really love how this sequence finished it off, added a little bit more shine and sparkle with the happy birthday shining as well. And I love the Barely Art glue. It holds it very well, and it is super easy to work with the fine details of the sequence. You can just see that sentiment shining right here. It's so shiny and so fun. So getting those sequins into place, and that is going to finish up today's card. I will show it to you shining and all finished. So that is today's card. Super simple, but very elegant. Only 3 supplies plus the ink. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.